What is up? Episode 99. Last double digit episode. Here we go. Slightly adrift. What is up? Zimmit Co. Cool Cat Toy Co. I just saw Ryan Lintner post his Bushi Koi. Sick piece, man. Nice score. Stormico just checking in. What's happening? Bliss Receptor. Bliss Receptor in the house. What is up, dude? Jazz Wizzy, Lynn's the Rap Boy, Pocket Sizzle. How is it going? Pocket Sizzle. If you change your screen name, you're always Pocket Sizzle to me. So maybe somewhere down the line, people won't know what that means. But if you do change your name, you're always Pocket Sizzle to me. I wouldn't say an overly busy show tonight. We got Mothman Republic coming up here shortly. We're going to go over a few of the giveaways we got for next week in for the big 100 show. What else do we got? We're gonna go over a couple little news things just real quick, probably before Mothman comes on here. Dre, what is up? Porp, what's up, dude? That's what I'm saying. Salsa for life, man. Especially if it's in the pocket. It's the pocket variety of salsa. It's the best kind. And then we got a couple giveaways tonight. We're gonna do a massive mini horse giveaway. And then we're also going to do a Mothman Republic giveaway that he gave me at Assembly Required when I met him back in February. So, and we're also going to go over a couple pieces from Trash Joy that I've had sit here for a little while. Attempts were made. What's up? And then a couple new Healy pieces that I got. One of them, much to my surprise, I bought it out of the DKE shop, and it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. It was actually way better than what I was expecting. So, Puzzle Sizzle, yeah, that's possible. We could do that too. Let's take a look at the first banner that we got up for tonight. Just a couple of news and notes here. Toy Wrestling Federation show, the TWF, is coming up in just a few weeks already. That's going to be April 24th. That's on a Wednesday. We'll probably do a recap show on the following day, which is Thursday. That's an Angry Beast and Lab 9 show. If you want information on that, I know that Lab 9 has that post pinned to his profile. You can go and check that out. That's an open show. All original characters, which I thought was very cool for a wrestling show. So that one's coming up. Make sure you get into that if you're into a wrestling show. Again, that's an open show, so probably going to be a lot of people in that one again. The next piece of news that I have on there, this is something that we all got to come together on right here. All right, so Bootleg Overdose. There he goes. What's going on, Ed? Bootleg Overdose. Go to YouTube and find Bootleg Overdose and subscribe. It's the same way that DKE started. It's the same way that Toys Alive started. As far as being on YouTube, you need 50 subscribers to be able to start posting content. So please go over to YouTube and subscribe to Bootleg Overdose. Find the Bootleg Overdose account, subscribe to it. He only needs 50. I'm hoping we can get him there by the end of the show tonight. We should be able to. Should not be a problem. Terrible Toy Works, what's going on? Bootleg Toy Co, what's going on? Speaking of Terrible Toy Works, man, this is going to be a freaking rad event when we have the GI show. I know everybody's surprised. Toys Alive is going to be covering the GI show again after last year's festivities. But coming back strong, a little redemption. Terrible Toy Works will be in the house to help me present that show. That is not until May, I believe. And so we still got a little ways to go on that one. But Toy Wrestling Federation show coming up before that. Again, that's an open show. April 24th, that's a Wednesday. We'll probably be covering it on the show here on Toys Alive. Mr. Ordinary, what's up, my guy? We'll be covering that on the 25th. So if you want to do a wrestling show, make sure you get in. That's Lab 9 and Angry Beast. Angry Beast back again with after coming off the Scraps series, which was a phenomenal show. And then one more time, Resin Blood Bootleg Overdose needs 50 subscribers on YouTube. Please go to his account on YouTube, subscribe to it, and then we can start posting, or he can start posting some content on there. He's got some sick content. I know that you've seen a lot of his videos just as of late, which are awesome. And there's more of that and even better. He's got some really professional looking stuff for Bootleg Overdose. I'm very, very excited about that show. That's going to be awesome for everybody. There is no other content machine like Eddie, and I believe that from uh, everything that we see, from the resin making, the vinyl making, the street art, the canvas work, um, it's everywhere. And so that's going to be DNS. What's up, dude? Been a while, my man. Um, Terrible Toy Works. Yeah, dude. Cool. You guys subscribed already. Right on. So yeah, Bootleg Overdose. Find them on YouTube and get subscribed to that. Porpoise says, no, that's something that I've seen a lot of. Go to Killer Carp's page and vote for Sloth. I know that Yuckamuck was really big on that one too. He loves the sloth. So perfect. Thank you guys for attempts from AGI show back with a vengeance. That's true. Thank you for subscribing to Bootleg Overdose. If you don't have time to do it right now, make sure that you do it sometime in the near future, please. I see Mothman is in the waiting room. What is up, dude? Are you ready to go, my friend? Perfect. Okay, cool. So let's see what we got for banners up here. We went over that one already. We'll talk to Mothman, and then we'll come back and we'll do some opens and then do some giveaways at the end of the show here. So without further ado, in the house right now, Mothman Republic. Here we go. What is up, guy?
Hello, how's it going?
It's going well, man. How are you?
Not too bad. A little cold at the moment, but other than that,
a little cold. Whereabouts are you?
I'm in Lexington, Kentucky, and it's like 40 degrees here.
Dude, that's crazy, man. So I'm driving home today. I have a job site way out by. It's actually it's semi close to Yosemite, which is about 2.5 hours away from me. So this is probably my furthest job site currently at the time. So I get up there this morning, and it's obviously the temperature had dropped a ton. So I'm driving home, coming back down the mountain. It starts raining like crazy. It gets below freezing. So as the rain is hitting my windshield, it's turning into slush, which means that slush is building up on the road, which means that cars start doing this all the way down the mountain. Dude, that was a trip. But Lexington, Kentucky, man, what is up in Kentucky? There is a lot going on as far as the art toy community in Kentucky, man. Do you see a lot of that firsthand, or is it just kind of like, oh, this guy happens to be from Kentucky too?
So I'm up here for school, and I would love to say that I've been like, trying to find where all the toy makers hang out and like hitting up the shows and stuff. I've been doing schoolwork since September, so I have very little free time. But I keep running into people. Jazz Wizard, of course, is up here. And then there were a couple people who ended up in Assembly Required from here too. Yeah. Who I didn't actually end up meeting, but I learned they were from Lexington. So.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. There's lots in Lexington, and then a little bit further north, you have I know like Recycle Galaxies from out there somewhere. Then you got, of course, Earthy, Kentucky. You got Skull and Void and One Trick just over the bridge there in Cincinnati. That's a poppin' little place, man, as far as the art toy scene goes.
Did I miss something? Did Earth to Kentucky close, or is it moving?
They closed. And I don't know if that's a permanent thing. I know that they're still doing online sales for sure. We're still doing gift cards for them and whatnot. But yeah, they're in a little bit of a, I don't know. I think they're kind of regrouping at the moment. Honestly, I don't think it's shut permanently, but I think the storefront for now is closed, which is a little bit of a bummer, man, honestly, right? But especially being in like Lexington, I think you're probably like an hour south of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so it's they're in northern Kentucky there, but I think they're definitely still doing online sales, but yeah, a little bit of a downtime for them right now. Dude, before we get started, dude, introduce yourself. My apologies on that. I didn't even give you a chance to do that.
No, you're good. Sorry, I was looking confused just then. I don't know if it was you or me, but the sound went out for a second. Anyway,
okay.
But now we're back to normal. Yeah, so my real name is Caleb. I usually go by Mothman now with other toy people because My shop name is Mothman Republic. Um, yeah, so this was my pandemic hobby. I started sculpting with like Sculpey, like oven baked clay over the pandemic. I was trying to well, I was like shopping online, which is most of what I did, the first few months of like lockdown or whatever.
Yeah.
I was trying to find like this specific dinosaur toy, like a scientifically accurate, sort of like updated, and I couldn't find one. So eventually it occurred to me, like, I guess I could try to make it, myself. Like I had some clay lying around. Um, yeah, so I went online and tried to like figure out, you know, look up some tutorials and stuff like that, and found a lot of people, especially on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's a lot of especially dinosaur, like extinct animal model tutorials on YouTube. So
Sure.
from there, I kind of like hopped to Instagram, and from there, the sort of dinosaur crowd, I found the bootleg crowd, and
Yeah.
the I think one of the very first people I saw was actually Trash Joy Studios,
Nice.
and that was like a road to Damascus moment. That was like, oh shit, like I had no idea people were doing that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
since
That's
then,
cool,
it's,
man.
it's
I did not know that you had that connection with Trash Joy, really, and I just happened to have some Trash Joy stuff here to open tonight, and I was looking at the last post that you have. I think it's some of the same stuff actually, but
right.
um, that's interesting, man. So I'm gonna go back to your. I'm gonna do a screen share real quick, man. I did pull up your account, um, and now that you say that, with so this guy, so this is way back at your first post now. All right, so this
Right.
is June 22nd, 2020.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
when I look at this, I'm like, oh, this dude is already an experienced sculptor and he's just kind of getting into this. From what it sounds like, you're saying that this is kind of the beginning. Now, is this the beginning of the sculpting?
Pretty much. I
Mm.
had done one thing earlier than that. I sculpted a animal for my brother for Christmas,
Mm.
and that was kind of like the first finished product thing I had going. But well,
Yeah.
actually, I do have a picture of it somewhere on the feed. It's the giant sloth.
Oh,
But
gotcha. Okay.
but yeah, so I don't that so the Spinosaurus there, that was the first thing that like I decided like, oh, maybe I'll post this online, like get other people to look at it and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Man, that is sweet. So after Um, now, if you follow, I was just trying to do some research, man. And I was kind of following this one, and this one looks like it was going, and then it looks like you tried to mold it, and it just like the post for this one just abruptly stopped, dude. There's one you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna mold this, and it's like, moving on to something else. Um,
right.
and so it's kind of, I take it, it's been a learning process for sure, man. It seems like you're all with what you just told me. It sounds like you're self taught in pretty much all of this, right?
Yeah. Or like I said, YouTube tutorials.
Sure.
That was my very first attempt at casting in resin, and I don't know. I feel like I should just defend myself a little bit, and like I actually did get a resin casting out of it,
Yeah.
but I was convinced that I had to chop it up. So like I took all the legs off, I cut the head and tail off, and yeah, so I was like working with a bunch of molds, and they didn't really come out that great. Then I had to glue it back together. So
Yeah.
yeah, the resin copy, I was like, all right, I'm not showing this to anybody. Let's just stop while I'm ahead.
Well, and I think that's probably the case for a lot of people, man. I mean, I don't think there's anybody out there who does this on the first shot or even first, few attempts and was like, "Oh, that's perfect. That's just what I wanted."
Right.
Um, but this is really, really good, man. And then you start looking through your feed a little bit more. First of all, dude, tell me about this. This was freaking insane. Um, this is a
Oh,
sculpt and a mold and a cast that you did.
that's just the sculpt actually. So
This is
that's just Sculpey, and
gotcha.
then
Okay, yeah,
I painted it up. Yeah, that was probably like my second or third pandemic era sculpt. Um,
wow.
yeah, I don't. Well, so another my day hobby was sculpting, and like my nighttime, like going to bed hobby was looking up alligator facts about alligators and crocodiles, which
Yeah.
I don't know. I prefer not to think about 2020 too closely. It's weird to like think back on. I was like, why was I spending so much time doing that? But yeah,
Right.
so they kind of like came together for that one. Got momentarily obsessed with alligators.
Yeah. That's cool though, man. I did read that you're originally from Florida. Is that right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
the alligator connection, that makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Are you from, is it like North Florida that you're from?
I'm from St. Pete, so like near Tampa,
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Nice.
South Central, kind of mid Florida, yeah, Gulf Coast, but a lot of
Now this,
alligators there. So.
yeah, exactly. Now the sculpting just in general, dude, I saw so much stuff on here I want to talk about, but um the sculpting in general. Now, was that something that you were doing before the pandemic came around?
No, like I said, I did that one thing for my brother's Christmas present, and that would have been December 2019 though. So like, I mean, yeah. So I guess technically, but like also, like if I hadn't had all that time, summer 2020, I don't know, like if I would have stayed with it, you know. So it's like in my
Right.
mind, it's always like a 2020 thing or like a lockdown thing, but
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, it sounds like it was kinda all coming together right around that same time.
right.
Um, that's awesome, man, and just briefly, dude, why dinosaurs? There is a lot of dinosaur work. Me personally, man, for me, some of my earliest memories of, it's not really of toys, but it is of dinosaurs. It's, like, well documented on the show, man, that my mom was, very strict about what I could and couldn't have, and weapons weren't a thing that was allowed. So dinosaurs were really big. I was really into dinosaurs. Um, I never really collected them, per se, especially when I was older. But now, I think getting back to it, I think the first one that really turned me on to dinosaurs in this community was General Porpoise and some
Mm,
of his work. And then you start seeing more and more dinosaurs, and you're like, man, so there is like this little connection of nostalgia for me to dinosaurs. What is it about dinosaurs for you, man, that makes it so? It seems like almost everything that you're doing. Well, not everything, but there's a lot of dinosaurs.
right. Yeah, no, it's exactly the same for me. It's just nostalgia. I was super, super into them as a kid. Um, I have this weird thing where like I still have a bunch of my dinosaurs, you know, from childhood like left, like in a box back in Florida. And I can go through it and like look at them and like remember like oh yeah, that was my 5th birthday. Like so and so
Oh
gave it
wow.
to me. Like I don't know why, but like memory just like sticks really, you know, like well around them for me. So
Yeah.
it's like a nostalgia thing. It's like a like I don't know. I don't read too much into this, but like a comfort thing. I guess it's
Sure.
sort of again like going back to the 2020 thing. Like it makes sense that that would like bubble to the top. It's like like
Yeah.
I don't know, like a security blanket or something. But yeah, no, they've always been. And when I was like a teenager and a young adult, you know, it's not really like that cool to obsess over dinosaurs. So dropped
Yeah.
it for a while, but they were always like in the background. And, you know, I always appreciated them. So I
Yeah, and I think
yeah.
that, dude, that's a good way to think about it too, man. And I never really thought about that too, but during the pandemic, that was such a weird time. I think you're right, man. Not only did people have a lot more time to kind of get stuff done, but I think there really was a sense of wanting things that make you feel comfortable,
Right.
and familiar, maybe because everything felt, very awkward and weird. But
Right.
dinosaurs and toys, I think, is right up there with something that you can kind of latch onto.
Yeah.
For me, I just turn on, like Seinfeld or something, and I'm just like, okay, everything's cool again.
Right.
Um, but yeah, man. Jazz Wizard says I wasn't allowed to have an Uziosaurus. You're correct, man. The Uziosaurus was not allowed. Oh man. Um, so cool. So you got into the dinosaurs. Did you have any? What was your experience with dinosaurs before you started actually sculpting them, man? I mean, you said that you had done the one dinosaur because you couldn't find a figure.
Right.
of that one. Now, do you collect? Looking at your account, you have a pretty cool collection. What is it that you collect?
Um, so I used to collect dinosaurs. I don't really. I still have my old collection, but it's not really active anymore.
Mm,
Um, I feel weird about collecting. Like I like doing it and everything, but I'm like scared of like accumulating like a bunch of stuff that like, especially now that, I'm an adult and I'm like moving around and stuff. I didn't even take that much stuff from Florida to Lexington, and it was like still a pain in the ass. So I'm like trying to think about like, if I have to travel around for the future or whatever, like what all am I going to be taking with me? But
yeah.
so I try to like limit it, and I try to keep it like I try to keep my collections like small and like manageable, and like I'm also known to like if sort of stop vibing with something, like I'll sell it or like give it away, or so there's like a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
The only dinosaur collection that I can think of that's like, I got when I was a kid and it's like still intact and I'm never gonna get rid of it are these the Invicta, the plastic dinosaurs from the Natural History Museum in London.
Do okay. Yes.
Yeah. That's if a lot like I don't know, there's a specific type of person who'll know exactly what that is. Well, Splendid Editions, who I
Yes.
think yeah, we mentioned him on the show a bunch of times. He lives in London. He's English. So
Mm,
we talk about that all the time because I think he has at least part of his collection from when he was a kid, and he still finds them like in thrift store bins and stuff like that. So they're sort of like they have this weird status, I guess, like among collectors. And so I don't it's not like complete or anything, but the ones that I have, I lived in England as a kid. So I
oh,
like
nice.
got them like from the physical museum, and like I
Wow.
would risk my life to like bring those things out of a burning house or something. Like those are never going anywhere. It's like
Now, when you say you got them at the Museum of Natural History, what history was it? Just like the gift shop there?
yeah. Yeah, my dad
Exactly.
would take me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I know exactly what you're talking about, man. I spent a lot of time. My grandparents, one set of my grandparents, was in a small community called Ladera, which is outside of Palo Alto here in in the Bay Area, out there by kind of like Stanford University, but it's really close to San Francisco and the Museum of Natural History out there. So we would go out to he would take us to the Museum of Natural History, see those same type of gift shops, see those same type of dinosaurs in there. It also had like a planetarium, an aquarium, Museum of Natural History. There's Japanese tea gardens. There's all kinds of stuff there, which is super cool. Um, but yes, those sculptured dinosaurs in the toy shop, there's no articulation. They're just a static
Right.
dinosaur. They're usually very heavy.
Yeah.
Um, those are
Like
great, man. I know exactly what you're talking about, dude. I didn't realize that that was just like a common thing amongst museum gift shops.
right. Yeah, and that's I wasn't aware that like I don't know, I wasn't aware that they were like a big thing until I guess my adult years. But so, it's kind of like retrospectively, you have all that nostalgia and then you realize that like other people value them. So that like adds to it too. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, I love those things. And that's actually I don't know. I mean, I don't think there was like one moment that like drew me to start sculpting or anything, but like looking back at stuff like that, I can definitely tell there were like influences out of
yeah,
that, just like looking at those sculpts and like, turning them over in my hand, stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Do your paint work too? And now on that alligator, you said that the paint work wasn't that good, dude. I thought it was. I thought it was pretty freaking rad. Do
Thanks.
you have a background in art, or is that something you just kind of picked up on your own in your free time?
Um, Not really. I was an artistic kid. I drew mostly though, so like pencil work and like pen and ink and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And it's always been like a hobby, but it's never been, part of like my career. I didn't pursue it in college at all, so it's just kind of another one of those weird background things.
yeah.
But yeah, and that thank you for the compliment on the gator. Yeah. I have no confidence in my paintwork whatsoever. I yeah, I usually actually get other people to paint it for me. So
Mm.
I got General Porpoise to paint my one of my sculpts way back, the
Oh, dude,
Ice Age animal. So
that was a beauty, dude. I remember seeing that. That was awesome. I'm gonna do a screen share again real quick, dude, because I do want to show this, man. Speaking of porpoise, um, dude, let's talk about these real quick,
oh yeah,
man. So my first batch of deaths, diminutive extinct scale creatures. Um, those are amazing.
thank you.
Those are
Yeah.
oh, that's funny. 164 weeks ago, Crumb's Crumb's first message. Amazing. That's awesome. Those are great, dude. Now this is something that was all hand sculpted and then casted by you.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and that was, the Invicta dinosaurs. There's a woolly mammoth model that, is included there. So, like,
Mm,
that was kind of, like, made basically to scale, and I did use that English model as a reference and stuff, but technically it's a different species. Yeah, um, hand
gotcha.
sculpted and, cast by me and everything. And those again were super, super early casts. I didn't even have a pressure pot yet. They're like full of bubbles.
Oh wow.
They're like off color now. I was rooting through my box of like old, like first trial resin, early resin experiments when I was back in Florida.
Yeah.
And I found one and like the color had completely faded because
Oh
it's
really?
cheap like Michael's dye. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Uh, that's funny, man. And speaking of that, you said the resin won't die, so they've been coming out like these kind of pastels 50 colors, which yeah, you said you don't hate. I think that's kind of cool too. That's pretty cool. Oh,
oh yeah, that's the Invicta Mammoth. Yeah.
there's the Invicta wood. Yeah, dude, I actually think I like your sculpt better, dude. Honestly,
Thank you.
uh,
Yeah.
looking at that, that is god dang, those are good.
Yeah, I like those a lot. That's actually the most like the request I get more than anything else, like on my random DMs, is
Yeah,
just like, "Hey, do you have any more of those mammoths?" Or like, "Are you bringing
yeah,
that back?" And it's like,
that's a great question. Are you?
probably not. I the last time I demolded. Oh, well, actually, okay. So that sculpt was like a short-haired version, and then
Okay.
I went back and made him hairier, and then cast that version a couple times. And the last time I did it, like his hair fell off and like his head got all scratched up and a leg came out, and it's just I might yeah. I don't think it's gonna be possible to
Yeah,
resurrect him.
yeah. No, that makes sense, man. Pocket Salsa's got a good question here. It says, "How did the weather change from Florida to Kentucky affect your casting? Did humidity mess with your casting at all?" I know weather, and just kind of talking to some other artists in international, that are overseas or whatnot, and um, that's one thing that I think is constant. No matter where you're at in the world, I think that everybody is dealing with weather extremes in one way or another. Man, is that something that you experience when you move from Florida to Kentucky?
It is. So in Florida, you cannot do this without a pressure pot. Like if
Wow.
you just put resin out and like let it sit, it will bubble and turn into ooze, and it will just yeah, it's not good.
Wow.
So back, but so the humidity is no good at all. The heat, however, I think did me a lot of favors. I tried to cast, well, I posted a little bit about this in my stories. I got this Easter Bunny guy. I don't know if he's gonna
Yeah.
show up or not. But this here is the only uh like workable version that I managed to get out of this guy. And
Mm,
every other version, the resin caught in his ears, like two huge bubbles in his ears. So
okay.
like all these versions where his ears just aren't there.
Right.
And I was trying to figure that out, and I had to like heat the resin and like change the temperature in my room and everything. And and I bought new resin. That's the other thing. I thought my resin was old. So I had some new stuff shipped in, same problem.
Mm,
And I think it might be the cold.
mm.
So if that's the case, then the answer is um yeah, it's ruining my life. It's horrible. I don't understand
Oh
it.
man, that
Yeah.
was
So,
funny, dude.
but yeah.
Wow. Um, yeah, I mean, especially with no pressure pot, dude. I mean, I've never casted anything like that. I don't know what's possible and what's not possible, but I can just imagine. Like you said, dude, I didn't know that. So you're saying in Florida, you can't even leave anything out.
Right.
It just won't work. And I know other guys that um, that's exclusively how they cast. Pamro Toys. He's in the Czech Republic, I believe, and he doesn't have a pressure pot. And his stuff comes out freaking flawless. You
Damn.
know, it's crazy.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, right.
Well, Trash Toy Studios he's getting a drop together now, I think. And one of his most recent posts was about the weather changing and it becoming like casting season again, which I think is funny because again, like back in Florida, it's always the same season. So it's like it's always good if you got the pressure pot. But now I have to go where nature wants me to go. It's
Yeah, yeah,
much tougher.
yeah, definitely. Um, Now, what about just like action figures as toys, man? Did you ever collect anything like that when you were growing up?
Um, so outside of dinosaurs, I was a big Lego kid.
Oh, nice.
Um, I was not really into action figures.
Mm,
I don't know why, really. It's just it just kind of like fell through the cracks, I guess. But
sure.
I did if any so I don't this might be like a my generation thing, but there were these Lego robot action figures called Bionicles.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a bunch of those, and I was really into those when I was uh like an early teenager, late
Sure.
tween, early teens.
Yeah, yeah,
That's about the closest I got though. So yeah,
yeah,
Legos and a ton of Legos though. Like probably 75% of like my free time as a kid was just like in my room with my Lego chest.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
That's a good
yeah,
one, man. I mean, that's a very common one, of course. Um, but I think, as far as imagination goes, I mean, I've just seen with my own kids and stuff and them doing, um, Legos. And then, what's really cool to see is when you give them a pile of Legos or they go grab a pile of Legos and they make something that's not what the set was. You know what I mean? They're kind of
right,
building something on their own. I think that's probably a good base for a lot of people. God, dude, Legos is something that we never really get into on the show, but it is one of those things where I think probably everybody's played with Legos at some point,
right.
you
Yeah.
know? Um,
Yeah, it's much rarer to like meet someone who like doesn't care about them or like doesn't have experience. Like that'd be weirder, I think. To like meet someone who's like, what's a Lego? Like
yeah,
it's so
right.
ubiquitous.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Um, Hobo Toys, what is up, man? Hobo Toys, haven't seen them in a while. Hobo Toys been around for a while. Um, I'm gonna share the screen again, man, and just kind of go through some of your stuff a little bit more because there's some super killer stuff on here.
Sure
Uh,
thing.
Tell me about this guy right here, man. This is still, man, we're still in 2021 here. Uh, but this is great. This is another original sculpt by you.
Right.
Damn, that's a good one.
Yeah, and that's actually the resin. Oh, that's actually the resin version. I
I read that
um
post, dude. It was funny.
yeah. So, but no. Yeah, and I sculpted that out of Sculpey too.
Nice.
That was still when I was like sculpting things without the casting process in mind. So
Gotcha. Okay.
that front arm, of course, had to come off because it's in front of his body, and I had to cast that separately,
Gotcha.
and that was a pain in the oh, and I did that before I got my pressure pot as well, so that's actually, I'll allow some praise on that one, 'cause I looking back, I'm like, "Actually, that yeah, that's not too bad." Given what I had and stuff, that's I'm happy with it, but I never got enough of them to, like, sell. I don't think I ever sold one, but
Nice. So, dude, I want to circle back on something that you just said. You said that you were doing sculpting without having molding and casting in mind.
mhm.
Was there something that you saw or something that you just wanted to try new where you did make that leap and say, you know what, one of these isn't enough. I want to duplicate these and try to sell them or just make more of them?
Um, I don't so I decided I wanted to, like, try to crank, some, like, extra versions out and sell them before I wrapped my head around the idea of, like, it being a cast-friendly sculpt.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why that delay was there, but, yeah, so I think the mammoth, speaking of, was, like, the first one where when I was sculpting it, I was planning out, like, the pose and, like, where the legs were gonna be, so I could just do as much of his body, like, in one mold as possible.
Right.
Um, and even then, I mean, if I let's see, this might be on the highlights, but it's probably buried on
Oh,
my
gotcha. Okay.
account. But, like, the bottom of the mammoth's belly is, like, where all these, like, tufts of fur, like, hang down, like, in points.
Okay.
So I needed a vent on, like, every single one of those points for the resin to, like, flow down or flow up and, like, escape the mold. And so, like, the what it looked like when I was, like, building the mold was, like, the mammoth, and he was glued to the base, and they were just like toothpicks, like, all around the bottom of the sculpt.
Right.
And so when I sculpted that, what that meant was when I took it out, I had to go, like, through every little tuft of fur and, like, trim the flashing off.
Mm.
So it was I mean, it worked, but it was like, I can't really see myself doing something like that again.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would probably be much more attentive to, like, how that kinda thing works and, like, I don't know, cutting down on the cutting down, like, the demolding process.
Right. Right. Dude,
I
this
don't
one's
know.
amazing right here, dude. Holy smokes.
Thanks.
What I think is really cool, man, is and I saw one of your posts where you were kind of messing around with different types of like skin texture
Right.
and patterns. You had a post where it looks like you had a couple different ones working on the same figure. Um, what do you think is a winning combination? I mean, so if you're so take that post, not this particular post, but the post where you have a bunch of different skin types or different textures that you've made. How do you decide, hey, this one looks most accurate, or is it like, I think this one looks the best? Or what kind of reference are you using for that?
Well, so for this guy here, I drew pretty heavily from my online resources. There's this account on YouTube called Kayakasaurus,
Okay.
and he's a pretty big name in the dinosaur model community too. And he does, like, tutorial videos about, like, how to sculpt, like, fur, how to sculpt scale texture, stuff like that. Um, so a lot of that stuff was just kind of like throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what hit. As yeah, I do like sculpting scales though. It's um really painstaking though, and it's
Yeah.
Sculpey's not like the best material to be doing that with, and especially like on a scale like that.
Yeah.
The technically speaking, with for that model, the scales are not to scale with like the model. It'd be which, like, I know no one cares about, but except for me, but, like, I don't know, it stuff like that, like, bothers me when, like, I
Yeah. Yeah.
when it occurs to me like 8 months later, and I'm like, oh god, that's not good. Um, but my favorite texture there, if you see a picture of the squonk somewhere on the feed,
Oh yeah.
he has all that wrinkly skin.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. There is you had a there was a part where you there was quite a few of those in a row. Man, that was a good one too. God, I remember all these.
Yeah, that was my favorite skin texture to work with so far. Those like wrinkles and like folds and stuff. Like,
Right
oh
here.
yeah, yeah, like the Sharpay kind of like texture. I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah. And this is obviously original character that you made. God, that's good.
That's actually a Pennsylvania folklore. It's a
Oh,
real
got it. Okay.
it's a real fake animal. So
A real fake animal. A squonk. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy, man. The folds in the skin there. God, there's a lot of like movement in there too, dude. That looks crazy.
yeah, that was really fun to do. I enjoyed that a lot.
Mm.
But there's nothing really that like looks like that. Like, I mean, I don't know. I like a Sharpei maybe. That's the only animal I can think
Yeah,
of in real life that has like such like that level of texture like that. But I
right.
think that's only on their face, right? I'm not really sure what this.
I think so, man. I know that they are super wrinkly like that. Yeah. So
Right,
this is oh, this is the glyptodon. No, this is the one. This is the one that Porpoise actually ended up painting, right? I mean, not the
right,
specific one, but that's the figure that he did.
right.
Yeah, those are
Yeah, I
nice.
have that guy here. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see him or anything, but
Yeah. Let me turn this off real quick. Stop sharing. Bam. All right, go ahead.
there you go. Yeah, that's I don't.
Oops.
That's this is the one that I commissioned the paint job from. And it's definitely the best piece in my collection based solely on the paintwork.
Mm,
Trying to like get out of the shot or something.
damn. No, I'm sorry, dude. I missed that. Did you say that's one that you made?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Um, I don't know how clear that's coming through or anything, but
Oh, that looks great. That's awesome. Mm.
yeah. And I tried painting one myself, and it was just like a gray circle. So I was like, all right, I gotta have someone else do that.
So, where are you at with making that stuff now, man? If I can get to the front of your some of your newer stuff, there's a lot of other stuff. Like for instance, this guy. This was a great one. Now this goes back a couple years already too. This is March of 2022. Skunk Ape work in progress. Um, is that dude? I hate asking this question because it sounds so stupid and like it's the first time I've ever interviewed somebody where you go, so what's your inspiration? But with yours, you can kind of look at it and see it. There's definitely some cryptids in there, and
Right.
definitely dinosaurs. Where does the cryptid part come from, man? Is that something that you've just always been fascinated with?
Yeah, I would say so. It. I mean, lately I've been doing a lot more cryptids than dinosaurs. Like as far as like historically speaking, dinosaurs were definitely like the main show in town and everything. But yeah, I really like folklore and like mythology, cryptids, monsters, stuff like that. Uh I don't know. I don't really have any like deeper reason other than I just kind of enjoy. But yeah, I sort of enjoy like how precise people are about them. Like
Yeah,
where you can like I don't know, like there's a distinction between a skunk ape and a Bigfoot, for example. And
sure.
then like if like people will once they're like into it and you like mistake them for each other, they'll be like, no, this is different because blah blah blah. And it's like,
Oh, gotcha.
why do we have like such like specific knowledge about something that doesn't exist? So like I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just think
right,
it's like
right.
fascinating.
That is interesting, man. So tell me about. So tell me about Mothman. Why did you pick that one?
Um,
First of all, I've been wanting to ask you this, dude. How many people have called you Mothman prophecies?
um, none
I
to
heard
my
it.
face.
I've heard it 3 times, dude. And it's from
Okay.
all, like, well-respected people, and I know it's just a slip of the tongue, but when someone says Mothman Prophecies, I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I remember that movie," and then I'm like and then they're talking about an artist, I'm like, "Oh, Mothman Republic. Yeah, yeah, yeah." But for whatever
I
reason,
gotcha.
it's just funny when people say, "Oh, yeah, Mothman Prophecies?"
Damn. Okay, so I guess people may have been talking about me. I didn't pick it up because I was just like, but no, yeah. So that's interesting. That is an interesting film, though. I like that. I like that
Yeah,
movie a lot.
yeah,
Richard
it's a
Gere.
good one. Yeah,
um, yeah. No, I don't know. I just well, I guess when I was trying to think of a name for my Instagram handle, I was like, no one's gonna like click on it if it's like some random like D tier cryptid, like skunk ape or squonk or like no one knows what it. Every time I talk about squonk, I have to like spell the word and like tell them, it's like a whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, it's a
So I
real
was
thing, and
right, yeah. So I guess like Mothman was like just had name recognition.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
wish I had a better answer. It's just like, and
No,
now
that's
it's
cool,
too
I
late
mean,
to
that's
change. So it's
yeah, it's, you're right, dude, as far as cryptids go, I mean, there's a few out there that I would know right away. Squonk, I would not know right away. Mothman, I would know right away. Bigfoot, I would know right away, and some of those
exactly.
other ones. But yeah, you're right. I think that's one of the more well-known ones, I would say.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think I remember trying something like a name with Bigfoot in the title. Um, and it just didn't really like I don't know. It didn't like roll off. Well, Mothman Republic does not roll off the tongue by any means, but I think it like sounds a little more coherent than anything I could come up with like Bigfoot or so. I don't know.
um,
It's,
these are cool, man. Let me share the screen again real quick. I'm gonna see what the heck am I looking at here. There we go. There was a now you had already had a couple posts of these. These are sweet, man. I love the pours that you did on these. Um,
thanks.
yeah, those are looking good.
Yeah, those were definitely like Trash Joy Studio inspired, kind of
Sure.
like experimenting around with the double pour stuff.
Yeah, those are great, man. And oh god, those are so good. Um, now we went through a post, or I saw a post of a pressure pot. Are you using a pressure pot now?
I am, yeah.
Nice.
When I moved up here, I threw it in the car, and that was one of the first things I packed. So
Nice. Oh my god, dude. All right, man. Tell me about this guy. This one, God, dude, when someone says Mothman Republic, I think this is the piece that comes to mind for me. Um, first of all, dude. So kind of take me down the road of how this guy came about.
sure. So this one, it had been long enough for me to start sculpting again with like the casting process in mind. What I really wanted to do was try my hand at roto casting.
Mm,
Which I mean, I'm sure like everybody knows. Well, my cousins are watching, so I'll explain this right quick. It's you instead of just pouring the resin into the mold and having like a solid cast at the end, you pour a little bit of resin that hardens really quickly in, and then you rotate the mold so that the resin, goes all over the surface of the mold, but then the resultant like casting is hollow.
right.
So I wanted to do that, and I needed a sculpt that was like mostly round. So
Mm,
this animal is called a glyptodon, and it used to live in Florida like 2 or 3 million years ago with like with mammoths and early humans and stuff like that. So that sort of had like a local tie-in, and then just general interest prehistoric animals, and it would be a good candidate for the rotocasting. So that's kind of what all led me to choose him to sculpt it, and then try to pull together a rotocasted sculpt. So,
Nice, man. Folklore says, did Porpoise paint one of these? Yes, yeah, he sure did. Phantom Lake, what is up, dude? Didn't see you come in the room, my guy. Um, and how did that go with the rotocasting, man? I mean, I've seen a lot of people use, um, and correct me if I'm wrong, dude. I think that there is rotocasting machines out there, but then I've also seen people kind of make their own,
right.
and they're crazy looking things, man. Like I don't even know how you would do that. For me, what I would do, I would, do that, and then I would probably just like throw it up in the air and try to get it to like spin all over the place. I mean,
Right.
what did you do?
I did exactly that. I shop I shopped online for like 5 minutes looking for a rotocast machine, and then I posted about it. And I can't remember who this was, and I wish I could so I could give him credit. I think it may have been Hella Radical Toys. He
Yeah.
responded and was like, so and so just tosses them up in the air to rotocast. And I was like, heard that. So yeah, the first one I tried, I designed the mold. I tried to design the mold so that it would, fit together really snugly and everything. And I the very first time I did it, I like bought a lab coat off Amazon. And
Mm,
I wore like elbow length gloves and like this face shield and everything, because the resin's not that dangerous. But like if it like gets in your eye, or like if it gets on your skin, it starts to cure it. It gets really hot. So
sure.
I was like, I didn't know what was gonna happen, but I didn't want like a full like 2 ounces of that stuff like in my face the first time. So, or anywhere on my body. So I was, yeah, I was like suited up and everything, and it
Wow.
did splatter everywhere, so that was probably a good call. But it came out too. It worked, and it worked really well. And again, like looking back, I'm kind of almost suspicious about the like how few problems I had, honestly,
Yeah.
for between like starting it and coming out with like a final product that I liked. So,
Yeah. Nah, it
but
looks killer, man. That one looks that's crazy good. Um, Pocket Toy Co. all the way from Brazil is in the house. What is up, dude?
hell yeah,
Um,
that's the real thing.
that's
Well,
the real thing.
the fossil of the real thing.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow. How big was that creature like when it was alive, man? Was it massive?
They were about car size at their biggest.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, my friend said that there's archaeological evidence that like early humans would hunt them and take the rest of the body like out of the shell and like live in the shell like
Oh,
seasonally or
no kidding.
something. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're big.
Wow, I could see that. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I would like a home like that, I think.
Yeah. Well, that shell, I mean, I'm sure that shell probably provided a lot of protection there. But man, what a process, dude. Check this out. This is nuts, dude.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, damn. Remember all
wow.
that now.
Yeah, and this is all and again, dude, this is all you're basically a self-taught artist. Well, maybe besides the YouTube videos and stuff like that, but as far
Right.
as experimenting on stuff like, you didn't do like sculpting in college or anything like that. Or did you?
Nah,
No,
pretty much
okay.
never. No. So
Yeah, gotcha.
internet taught.
Yeah. um, dude, what is this? I mean, I know this is an albino alligator, right?
Yeah.
Is that
Um,
real?
it is. I can't remember where that is. I think that's at the alligator farm in St. Augustine, Florida.
Cool. That's funny, man. That Museum of Natural History that I was talking to you about in San Francisco, one of their main attractions when you walk. I don't think it's there anymore, but when you walk in the main door, um, you walk into this huge like alligator pit, and that was like the main thing was an albino alligator was always in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, that's a trip.
I like them. They're interesting,
Yeah,
very
this is sick,
elegant.
man. Is this you right here?
Hmm. Yeah. Um,
Oh heck
yeah.
yeah.
The idea behind that was just to make like a empty set of robes that someone could like modify or like do up as they wanted. I actually have I'm like mostly talking about Trash Toy Studios, I guess, but we did a collab featuring that where he used the robes and he like made a king in yellow figure to go with it. So
Oh, nice,
just
nice,
I can show that later, but that's right here.
sweet. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna. God, dude, I just so your stuff here is so freaking good, man. I don't want to just sit there and just drool over. God damn, man, over all this stuff. Let's go. Let me turn this off real quick, man. I know that you have some stuff that you were working on. You want to show that stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. So I've already held up the Easter bunny, right?
Yeah, that was great, by the way, man.
Thanks.
That's a
Yeah,
really cool clip. That's one of your latest. I mean, that's one of your latest posts. If
right.
anybody has a chance, please go check that post out. That thing's freaking rad. Yes.
Yeah, I was super proud of that sculpt too, and the none of the castings work, so I'm gonna have to
Mm,
toy around with that a little bit.
yeah. Is the idea to make some more of those and sell them?
Yeah, I was gonna try. I was gonna try to think of like a another sort of like fucked up holiday mascot to make to go with him,
Yeah.
like an evil Santa or something, just to like balance it out. But uh, these have been around a while. Actually, wait, and they were assembly required, so like I'm
Yes.
people have seen them before, but um I'm about to redo him. Death and Strawberries gave me a set of sample wax, like sculpting
Oh,
wax,
nice. Yeah.
and I've made a copy of him in wax. So I'm
Oh,
gonna
wow.
start modifying him a little bit and try to like fix him up for another run.
Nice. Yeah, I saw you did a post about that, right? With the wax. It looks like it was incomplete. But yeah, dude, actually we're gonna be giving one of those away tonight. You were
Oh, that's
gracious
right.
enough to give me one of those at assembly required. So yeah, we'll be giving one of those away. Along
Perfect.
with your F bomb too. That's a cool one.
Right.
Yeah.
um, let's see. This is. I'm trying. I have it in my mind that like if I move my head, it will focus on this better, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not. But,
You know, sometimes if you just put your hand behind it, it gives it like a solid background. Yeah, there you perfect, dude. There you go.
okay.
Mm,
Yeah. So he's a. That's another account actually that I found on Instagram. It's called Masked Traditions,
okay.
and it's like
Nice.
all this folk art and like folk costumes from like around the world. And there's like a lot of horned hairy characters that come up a lot. Like that's a pretty common trope.
Yeah.
So I was experimenting with that, and he's actually kind of bigger, but I don't know if you can tell, he has like a suit, and he's gonna have legs eventually, and he's
Yeah.
gonna
Nice.
be carrying like some kind of like pitchfork or something. So
Right.
I don't know.
Wow.
And
Dude, is
that's
that
where I'm.
common to sculpt on a popsicle stick like that? I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, I tried that randomly because I was tired of building like skeletons for him, like
Sure.
armatures.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like a lot of work, and I'm lazy, so I was trying to figure out if I could like just um put the wire on a popsicle stick because it'd be there'd be like a little bit of grip there or whatever,
Yeah.
and then just sort of like sculpt it in modules. So I don't know if you can,
Oh, yeah. Wow.
and then
Okay.
like slide them together.
Sure.
It's been working so far, but yeah.
Nice. Wow, that looks good. what's the scale of that? That looks like, I would say by the time that's done, that's what's that got to be probably 4 or 5 inches.
Let's see. Yeah, probably about, yeah, about 4 inches.
Yeah. Wow.
Sort of on the bigger side, honestly, compared to most of the stuff that I've been doing lately.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man, compared to the stuff that you've been doing, yeah, it seems like that's definitely a larger piece.
Right.
But you're right, dude. Very, it does have a really like a trash joy feel. Was that on purpose? Because I know you said you do collect some of his stuff.
Right. Oh yeah, I have a ton of Trash Joy Studio stuff. That's
Yeah.
actually when I was packing up stuff to move, that was the first stuff
Mm,
in my suitcase because I couldn't live without that stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I take that as a compliment.
Oh yeah.
I I like his stuff a lot. I think he has a really good eye for like aesthetics,
Yeah.
and I don't. I'm good at like mimicking other people's tastes. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
You know what I like about Trash Joy, man, is as thrown together as it looks like it was very like a well planned out thrown together. You know what I mean? Like it looks like, oh, that's probably just a dump mold or something. But then you look at it and you're like, fuck, I don't know, man. Was it? Or was that on purpose? Because that looks really, really good.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's it's crazy and it I mean I to hear him talk it's kind of supposed to look I mean I don't want to say trashy, but that is in his name, but it's sort
Yeah.
of like lowbrow. I think he uses that
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like look at it, if you know where to look for like the mold lines and like how he got that cast in the first place, it's like super sophisticated. It's a really interesting balance between those two.
Yeah. Cool, man. And I see that, like I said, I kind of get that feel with some of the smaller pieces that you have. Um, what about shows, man? I mean, I know I saw you at Assembly Required. Is it how often do you do shows? Is that something that you try to work in on a regular basis, or?
Um, I for a while there, I did a couple. I did. I tried to do assembly required 3 times in a row. In 20 last year, I couldn't make it,
Mm,
and then they had this. So I've done two of the. No, sorry. Okay, so the first one I did was online, and then
mm.
I've done two in person. So, and I did a show in LEJ, Georgia. I think that was in 2022.
Oh, dude. So who there's a toy company out there, isn't there?
Yeah, Mountain Town Toys.
Bro, I kid you not. I kid you not. Guess what I'm drinking right now?
What?
Mountain Town coffee.
Oh, yeah. I
They're
have a whole
great.
bag. Yeah, it was
Yes.
delicious. Like,
Dude, and
holy shit.
shame on me for not promoting these guys earlier. But I need to, what I was actually thinking about doing is making a sticker and slapping the sticker on one of these cups. But Mountain Town Coffee, if anybody's out there coffee drinkers, I know a lot of us are. Mountain Town Toys, they also make coffee. And when you said that name, Ella J, Georgia, I remember seeing that. That's awesome, man. Yeah, those guys are great, dude. Those are very, very nice people. I met them. Shoot, they were right over by you at Assembly Required. Now that I think about it, right?
Yeah, they were my next door table. So,
Gotcha. Yeah.
yeah, when I got there for that show, I feel bad because he invited me to do that show, and then like I turned out to be the problem child. That I I borrowed my grandma's car because my car would not have made the drive.
Yeah.
And as I was pulling up to my hotel in LJ, Georgia, like 8 hours later, the transmission on the car just completely died.
Oh no.
And I was stuck in LJ, Georgia for like a weekend. And I mean, luckily, like I had a toy show to do, so I could kind of distract myself. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that was a. And then at the end, like, but yeah, they were really nice, and they you know, made sure I was okay and stuff like that. And,
Yeah, right on.
um, but yeah, so sorry, for shows that's so there was a while there when I was doing assembly required pretty much on the reg, and then I did that, and then I did a couple of like online shows, which I can't remember what were now.
Yeah,
But lately it's just completely fallen off. And as
yeah,
much as I liked being at assembly required this year, like I don't know how much energy I have to like keep driving places, like
yeah,
to keep going on the road like that. So
yeah.
I don't know. I might be winding down with the shows, honestly, but which is
Yeah,
sad.
man, I think, you could look at it from a bunch of different ways, and I know a lot of people that think the exact same way, um, that you're thinking now about shows, and there's other people that just can't get enough of them, and it seems like they love to, um, get to every single show possible. Let me ask you something, man. With an account your size, and that's not a knock on you by any means,
Oh yeah.
um, but with an account your size, and when you go into a show like Assembly Required, where it's something that you're traveling to, what's your mindset going into that show? Are you saying, if I don't make all my money back on the show that I'm putting out, it's going to be a failure for me? Or are you saying, this is a great experience to just go and be a part of this show with other makers, just to have my stuff out there and being in front of people? What's your thinking there, man? I mean, I know you don't want to set yourself up for failure and say, "Hey, if I don't make my money back, then this was a complete waste," because it's really not. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I was never really like I never cared about the financial aspect of it just because
Sure.
I didn't feel like I had the confidence to. Like, if
Yeah,
I thought I could show up and then, like, make back the, table deposit and everything, then, like, I think I would have been into that, but I just plus, I mean, my operation has, like, always been so small, and,
yeah, yeah,
the most I can get out of, like, any given mold nowadays is like 20 casts at most.
yeah,
So like everything I have is like a limited run, and
sure.
yeah, I just it's definitely about the experience for me and like networking, meeting
Yeah,
everybody, seeing what's going on. So but
yeah.
the first time I went, I did way better than I thought I would. And so
Mm,
that was amazing. And like on that last day when I had like a pocket full of like 20s, I was like happy and like buying drinks and like going around like sampling everybody's pieces and everything like that. But
sure.
when that doesn't happen, it's like you can't really be as like flippant and stuff like that. So you just
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. And that's cool, man. I mean, I think, I don't know. I think the first year I went to Designer Con, and then I heard the price of the tables. You start thinking about, the tables that you see that have really low priced pieces, and how many they would have to sell just to get their money back just on the table. And then if they came from out of the area, and then you think, man, at what point do you draw the line and say, I need to be realistic about this and know that I'm probably not going to make my money back, but there is an element of networking, like you said, and just kind of getting your name out there. And there has to be a dollar amount attached to that. You can make that whatever you want. Um, but I think that's an easy way to kind of soften the blow as far as not making your money back on the table, where you just kind of think about it as everything else. I think we did a good job at Assembly Required, in the following weeks, where everybody kind of said, hey, this was just kind of, if you didn't make your money back, whatever, it was a fun time and it was kind of more of a vacation.
Right.
Um, and that's all fine and dandy to think about it like that. If you think about it like that, if you don't,
Right.
it's kind of a rough road. But that was awesome, dude. That was awesome to see you out there. What do you think is coming up for you immediately?
um I that's a good question. Class is about to be out, so like I am anticipating having some more time over the summer. um I'm glad that I've had as much time as I have had to work on stuff throughout the year, but if it were like up to me, I definitely have more time. And it's a good for me, it's like a way to handle stress and like sort of like have a meditative moment like a couple times a day or a couple times a week or whatever. So I have missed it a lot, and I want to get back. I guess like this guy might be coming down the line soon, hopefully.
Nice.
Um, and then maybe someone to like a Santa themed sculpt to go with the Easter Bunny. But yeah, I
Oh,
don't
there
know.
you go.
It's all kind of just in my head still at this point. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah. That
But
bunny sculpt, man, that thing is, I hope something comes out of that one, dude. That bunny sculpt, the post. You know what, man? I'm gonna try to find that post real quick so we can just share it.
sure.
But what a great freaking post that is. Let's see. I think we can just scroll to the top here.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun making that one, and I it was sort of like speaking of like sculpting with the casting process in mind. I
Yeah,
was taking a lot of risks with it, with how thin some of the and how delicate some parts of the sculpt are,
yeah,
and that came back to bite me a couple times when I was trying to pull some casts. But so yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not disappointed or anything per se, but like going through it, I'm like the next like sculpt I do is just gonna be like perfectly round or something. You know, like I just like
sure.
no appendage whatsoever. Like just to make the like casting process as easy as possible. So
Dude, that's a great point, man. And that is actually a question that I should ask more guests. Where does the casting process ever influence your sculpting, as far as just exactly what you said, where you're saying where, well, if I make it like this, I know this is going to be a total bitch to cast. And it's, long fingers, long toes, weird arms, stuff like that, you're probably going to have a problem with it.
right.
Um, do you ever find that as a problem, man, where you're just like, I don't want to deal with this during the casting process, so I'm going to make it like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time. I have this guy, I'm apologize for having to use the camera again. He's
Oh,
like
good.
a two-headed dishwasher cat. Um,
Oh, nice.
and that's obviously, I mean, he's, like got pretty like chunky. Um, all his appendages are like really close to his body and everything.
Yeah.
So that's an example of like, yeah, like I kind of knew what I wanted to do, and I was just like, I don't really care how this looks per se, like as long as I can like get the design to be recognizable and then just make it as like compact as possible to like have as few molding and casting problems as humanly possible. So
Yeah.
but that's rare. I usually like either like mess it up accidentally or I'm like, no, I think it'll be okay this time, and then it never is. So it's like with the rabbit, but it's funny.
But dude, it seems to me like when you cross those problems, I mean, I've come across some artists where it's just total meltdown. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean that when the casting doesn't go right, the first, second, or third time, it can just be very frustrating, man. Where you just want to hang things up and say, you know what, I'm moving on from this. Um,
Right.
and it just gonna go do something else. Do you ever find yourself doing that, or is it like, no, I'm gonna get this thing right and then I'll move on, or is it like, you know what, I'm about to just chuck this thing against the wall. I'm gonna set it over here so I don't do that, and maybe
Right.
just go back to it at another time.
Yeah. It's sort of a mix with the I think I'm at a place now that like I can tell if something is salvageable or not pretty quickly. And I think if I feel that it is, then I'll definitely like put in the time and like I can be patient and stuff like that. With
Yeah,
this rabbit, where I wasn't really expecting any problems, even though I set myself up for quite a few, I it was yeah, that was not a fun couple days. I like
Yeah.
there was a lot of checking against the wall and like I'm never doing this again. And like, going to do schoolwork to de-stress instead
Yeah.
of like, you know, like everything getting turned on its head. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of those moments. I don't know. I I'm not like out here like getting easily frustrated like all the time, I don't think. But like in I can be patient with like my girlfriend is glaring at me. I'm patient with like people and like animals and stuff like that. But like when it comes to inanimate objects, like that for some reason that can just like so yeah, like the fifth bunny that like didn't have ears on it, I was just like,
Yeah.
there's yeah.
Uh,
But
yeah.
if I do make a character to go with him, like I said, he's gonna be like the stockiest, shortest, like most egg-shaped sculpt that you could
Yeah. I was just gonna
possibly
say, hey, this guy's a
imagine.
circle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So
That's funny. Dude, we've been at this for an hour already, if you can believe that, man. That went by super, super fast.
damn.
So coming up next for you, you said possibly a Santa character. Is there anything else that you want to let everybody know before I kick you out of here?
I don't suppose so, really. I guess I could have been better prepared on that front, but I mean, if I ever get the rabbits up and going, I'll definitely have it drop. I will. You were asking earlier in the afternoon about my Etsy store. I'm gonna try my best because I have a lot of I even have stuff left over from assembly required. So
Oh,
I'm
sweet.
gonna try to put some stuff on the Etsy because Etsy, I don't know if you ever sold anything there, but like if you sell something, you calculate the shipping on the website by weight, and they'll just send you a packing slip that you can print off. It's like you don't even go to the post office. You just like slap it on the box and like put it on your front doorstep.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, given where I am in my life right now, it's like there's no reason not to be doing business that way. So
Yeah.
I think I might actually I've been planning this for a while, but I think I might move away slightly from the Instagram drop and start relying on online stores more. So
Nice.
uh and I'd like to get the store up soon. So hopefully that'll happen. That's not really an announcement, more just like I'm voicing this goal now so that maybe like outside pressure will help me actually do it.
And that's one way to do it, man. Speak it into existence, right?
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
what what's your take on Etsy? I mean, I know that a lot of people. I don't have a store. I'm kind of looking to do something like that. I know that there's. It's funny, man. You hear about a lot of people saying, "Oh, don't use Etsy," and the next thing you know, their store's still on Etsy. I saw Drew today. He did. He fired up the Etsy machine again today and put some new stuff in there.
Right.
Um, I talked about Big Cartel last week, and a lot of people said, "Yeah, Big Cartel's great." And I said, "Yeah, for only $10 a month, you get A, B, C, and D." Well, sure as shit, 24 hours later, I get an email from them saying our prices are increasing. It's now $15 a month and not $10 a month. It's only $5, but still, uh,
Right.
you're thinking, God, if we're jumping up $5 at a time, when's the next one coming?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, my experience with it has always been good. I a couple years ago there was like a user strike because I think they were trying to up the commission that they were charging or something like that.
yeah,
Um yeah, I mean from what I can tell it's one of those things that like a lot of people use and everybody complains about, but it's like it's so easy and convenient for like a very specific kind of thing that it's like, what else are you really gonna do? It's like,
yeah,
I mean, I'm
yeah,
not above. I'll use something and complain about it. Like, I don't care. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I'll complain about things that I actively like. So I don't know. I think it's just one of those things. And yeah, but maybe people have like really bad experiences or stories. I've never heard anything too ridiculous except that they want money, but it's like, yeah, everybody does.
Exactly, dude. I think that's exactly it. I think it's probably how often you roll out those price increases. I mean, I think everybody expects a price increase, but
Right.
how much and how often, I think, is kind of what annoys people sometimes. But just curious, man. I mean, there's so many people. There's Shop. I saw some people mention Shopify um, in the
Mm,
uh, in the chat there. Shopify, Big Cartel, Etsy, just regular online, Instagram drops. That's always a thing too.
right. I
Um,
also use Coffee, or Kofi, the like
yeah.
ko-fi.
Okay.
Um, I really like that service, but no one clicks on it. Like I
Yeah.
tried advertising it a bunch and like zero interest. So
I did click on that on your link. And so tell me about that one real quick, man. Now, at first glance, when I looked at it, it
mhm.
almost looks like a thread
Right.
of just kind of random stuff. How does that work?
Um, that works basically however you want it to. There's like that feed on the front of the site. So like if you're going through and like actively posting, what you're working on and pictures, sort of like Instagram style, you can have that. The thing that I like about it is that this on the store settings, you can set it for people to pay what they want, and
Mhm.
invariably you make so much money that way. Like if you
Really?
don't tell people how much to pay, because like someone might come along and like buy it for like $5 and kind of stiff you, but then like the next person will be like, oh, here's $50. And it's like, this person who just like has $50 to throw around just like came by and like,
Right. Right.
and that was, that's like selling like eight of what I had or whatever. So it's like, it's a good model, I think, in my experience. So,
That's interesting, man. And that's on Kofi, Ko-Fi.
mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and if I could get more traffic that way, that's what I definitely prefer to be on. But you know, Etsy's Etsy, so
Yeah. Yeah,
name
exactly.
recognition. So,
Kofi. So check that one out. That's one that I haven't really heard of. If anybody's looking for a possible new shop to get into, Ko-Fi, check that one out. Mothman Republic has been my guest this evening, dude. Thank you very much for coming on. That was a very quick hour.
yeah,
Um, Good luck to you in your future endeavors, man. That was some really cool stuff, dude. I think everybody's looking forward to that rabbit coming out. Of course, the dinosaur sculpts, man. Please tell me that those are still going.
oh yeah, I got
Yeah.
some again just in my mind at this point, but I got some plans. So,
Nice, nice, very cool. Well, again, dude, thanks for your time tonight. Thanks for coming on. Is there anything else that you want to get out there?
no, I think I'm good. But thank you for having me on. This is great.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be the 99th guest, the right before the triple digits, the last
Right.
of the double digits. Huh?
The last of the double digits, man.
Uh,
99. We are going to be giving away the two-headed cannibal tonight.
oh,
And
excellent!
yeah, and then an F bomb as well,
Hell
um,
yeah!
along with some Mothman Republic stickers going out. We'll do that
Beautiful.
at the end of the show. And thank you again for that, dude. That was extremely generous. Yeah, you
Of
basically
course.
just handed me those at assembly required. That was very cool.
Hell yeah.
Um, Appreciate that. And thank you for coming on, dude. Again, appreciate your time. I know you're busy. Um, Best of luck to you, dude. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you around.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you so much.
You got it, buddy. Thanks, you, man.
See ya.
Boom. Mothman Republic, dude. That was freaking. That is a talented dude, straight up. Let me take that ticker off of there. But the sculpt work, I'm always super impressed by people that are literally starting from zero. A sculpt, mold, cast, um, and what a great nostalgic memory those dinosaurs. I mean, I guarantee you, if you saw those dinosaurs, it's almost like if you go to Michael's, and Michael's has a really small section of um, it's over by like the models and stuff, right? It's like little animals, dragons. Sometimes you can get a tube of them. Sometimes they're bigger ones. There's dragons and zoo animals and stuff like that. But it's a very distinctive feel and a very distinctive quality. They're heavy pieces. They're mostly non-articulated, but for him to be duplicating those That's wild. That is a skill. I mean, and you saw it's not half-assed stuff. That is really, really nice stuff. All self-taught. And again, another artist from the great state of Kentucky. Um, yeah, dude. Anytime, dude. Anytime you want to come back, anytime that you have anything that I can promote for you, please let me know. That was, yeah, Mr. Ordinary said it right there, man. Super chill dude. Those are always really cool interviews, man. I really didn't have a lot of notes going into this one, just because you look at this stuff and you're like, wow, we're gonna have a lot to talk about just by scrolling through. And those are the kind of interviews that I really like, man. You just sit back and just kind of chat about what's going on and their process, and of course, his process is different than everybody else's process, and um, that's another thing that's very cool is that um, even though it's a completely different setup and the goal may be a little bit different, it's still part of the community. Um, and he's nailing it. I mean, it's super good work, man. It's very impressive to take something and sculpt it into that kind of dinosaur, um, and then do some roto casting on your own, molding casting on your own, especially with the weather change. Man, Pocket Salsa, that was a very good point about the weather change. That's something that we don't talk about enough on here. Is maybe sometimes people that are doing really cool um, casts and stuff, maybe we take that into consideration and say, what's the weather like where you're at? What's the conditions that you are um, that you're casting in, that you're building in? Because I think it does make a difference at the end of the day. I mean, it makes a difference out of anything else. I mean, you look on the back of a product and you see how it's going to react to the elements. Sometimes you can't do stuff because it's too cold, or you can't do stuff because it's too hot, or there's too much humidity in the air. But one way or another, he's figuring out a way around it, whether it's with a pressure pot or without a pressure pot. Um, that it's super cool work. That was a mouthful. Um, oh man, I saw some new people come into the room. Not new people, but people that I just had not seen coming to the room. Suki, what's up, dude? Retro Zone Neon, what is up? Sir Collect a Lot, my dude, what's going on? Got a package headed your way this weekend. Um, Barrio Boba, El Jefe, what is going on, man? All right, so next, what are we gonna do next? We got about 30 minutes left. I don't know if we're gonna get the whole 30 minutes. Let's talk about a couple pieces that I got to show. One of them, I'm gonna go through this box real quick of Trash Joy Studios, and I kid you not, that was total random. Where I did not know that Mothman had that connection with Trash Joy Studios. So what a good night to show the Trash Joy Studio pieces. Um, but I do like how some of like the Skunk Ape piece, right? And he's saying it's kind of done in the spirit of Trash Joy Studios, and he's right. I could see either one of those pieces being in any account, and it would fit right in. So here we go with some Trash Joy Studio pieces. Number one, now Trash Joy Studios. If you followed him for any length of time, typically what happens is you don't hear anything. You might see some stuff like, "Hey, I got a drop coming," and then you'll see a drop, and it'll be one specific piece, like this witch finger right here. There'll be like 5 or 6 of these in a post, and then a couple minutes later, another post with a different figure and 4, 5, 6 versions of those. You just claim what you want, and they're always super affordable. The pours are always free. I mean, look at that. That's wild. Witch finger, and of course, this thing glows and has UV like crazy. But that's a great one. Witch finger, bam. Trash Joy Studios on this one. Then a Doc Ock. If you know anything about Trash Joy Studios, you know that this was, I believe, his first little character that he made. And then he makes more every now and then. But there you go, Doc Ock. That's a good one. Again with the pour. Um, are just really, really good. And honestly, I believe Crumbs is the one who turned me on to Trash Joy Studios. Crumbs is a big Trash Joy Studios fan, um, and got me hooked. This one right here is probably one of my favorite pieces. This is what would they Dream Job is the name of this one. I think I have 3 or 4 of these. But being in the construction industry and seeing this guy with the jackhammer and saying that's the dream job, um, I think it's an interesting piece, just in general. But then to call that a dream job, um, you can really kind of go down the rabbit hole of blue collar America, and you know, is that a dream job for most people? Uh, I don't know. I can't say that for sure. But I know for me, the American dream has turned into, being able to pay my bills, take care of my family, no matter what that is, even if it is doing construction, running a jackhammer, whatever you want. Um, so I think it's one of those pieces that, you can look at it and say, oh, yeah, it's just a construction guy. But you start kind of, digging a little bit deeper in there, then you throw the name of Dream Job in there, and it kind of makes you think. This was another little small random one that he had, and there was just a few random pieces that came up, and he said, "Hey, just claim it if you want it." And so I claimed this one. I don't know what that piece is called. It's just this. I think when I claimed her, I said, "I'll take the green chick." So there's the green chick. This one right here. This was a piece that he called. The drop was called the herd, and so I think the pieces are actually called the herd. But oh my god, I was waiting for these to come out. I know you've seen them, and he did drop I think 4 or 5 of them. But look at the freaking pour on that thing, crazy good. And then with the skull head, eesh, so damn good. And of course, again, there's UV and glow on all this. Um, Bam. And assemble a kick-ass collection. Yes, Retro Zone Neon. That has always been a lifelong goal of mine. Um, I realized that starting in 2020. So, lifetime of 4 years ago. Yeah, Pikmin, straight up, dude. The pink and the black on there. I think that's what caught my eye originally. I love that pink and black combo. You can tell from the Toys Alive logo and a lot of the posts that I do. That pink and black combo is it's sick, man. It's nostalgic for me. It reminds me of the '80s. Um, TNC surf, um, skateboarding, BMX, all that stuff, man. The pink and black is always rad. But this right here, that's amazing. Really cool work. And this is what I mean, where it looks like this could have been a dump molder where he's just throwing stuff in here, but then you look at it and you're like, man, I don't know, is it? It looks like it could be planned out. Um, but damn, that's good, man. Um, and that's what we got for Trash Joy Studios. Yeah, that pink and black combo, man. That's a good one, dude. Here's 2 other pieces that I'm going to show you real quick. I didn't advertise these, but then I kind of saw them out of the corner of my eye as I was getting set up for the show. This first one, I got this out of the DKE shop. This was an IG88 SWWF wrestler from Healy Made. It was listed at 150, and I thought, wow, 150 for a 3.75. Um, I don't want to say that's out of line for a 3.75 Healy made SWWF figure, especially if we're talking about something on the first run. The first run now goes back a few years, and 150 for something in the first run, I could see that, honestly. I think those came out, um, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer than that. And they were probably running about 70 when they first came out. Um, like I said, 150 I think is definitely at the upper end for a 3.75. Much to my surprise, after I bought this, it was in clear. And so number one, it's the IG88. And it was in clear. I hadn't seen one in clear, so I thought, I'll buy that. It was in Dove's shop. I hadn't seen one yet. Um, I go back and I'm reading the description of it, and it's not a 3.75. This bad boy is a 12 incher. Bam. IG 88, crystal freaking clear, Healy made SWWF. IG 88, solid resin, non articulated. Again, this came right out of the DKE shop, and that is a freaking beauty. I put this dude in the Healy made case, and he just straight up dominates right away, towers over everybody in there. Um, I mean, what's crazy is about these bigger Healy pieces is that you rarely ever see them, number one, up for sale on the secondary market, and you don't see him making these anymore. Like, it's got to be, you got to reach out and say, hey, you still got that 12-inch IG88 SWWF mold? If you do, would you like to make me one? But that's bad. That is bad. I love this piece. Um, yeah, it's a beast too, heavy. So there's that one. Yeah, exactly, man. And retro zone neon. That's what I'm saying, man. You just don't see it. You just don't see the large scale stuff very often. I have a smaller IG88 SWWF wrestler that's probably about 6 inches, and I thought that was big when I first got it. But this guy, and there is other figures out there that are made in this scale. You can find a Kylo Ren that's kind of in the like the flesh tone, kind of. Those are rare, and they go back a few years now. I mean, if I had to guess, I would say this is probably 16, 17, something like that. Um, it's dope. And the other one that I'm going to show for Healy that I just got, this is one that I've wanted for a long time. Um, I see a guy on on eBay right now trying to sell this exact character or this exact figure. He was trying to sell it for like $500, and then it went down to like $400, and that is way out of line. Um, it just is. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you set the price on these sometimes, but I know if the artist is saying that's too much, it's probably too much. And then you look at comparable prices between shops, and you find stuff that's usually pretty similar. And then you see some Yahoo like this guy where he's trying to price it at $500 or $400. I don't know who that is. If that person happens to be in the room, you're overpriced. I don't think you're ever going to sell it at 500. I don't think you're going to sell it at 400. I don't think you're going to sell it at 300. You might not even sell it at 200. You might come across somebody who really wants it. But this one right here, it's another rare one. I don't know how many were made, but this is a Captain Phasma. Look at that. That cape is actually separate on there because there's a lot of movement in there. So it's a separate piece. But this is the gun it came with right here. And it's probably going to fall out right there. You can kind of see the gun. Yeah, Jazz Wiz, I agree, man. There's some super dipshits on eBay trying to sell Healy stuff. I agree, man. And I don't know who these people think they are, because it stays on there forever. I mean, I've negotiated with people on there whose pieces have been on there for over a year, and they don't want to budge on the price. And you know, I don't know. I'm just saying. Captain Phasma 3.75. That's a Healy made. That's a static figure. That's freaking beautiful. Man, one of my favorite new pieces. Yeah. Oh, the Retrozone Neon, the Melty Healy guys. Those are the Baba. I think you're probably referring to the one that just came out. Yeah, man, there's a whole bunch of different versions of those. Those you can find. on the secondary market. There's a couple different versions of those. But yeah, those ones, those are going to run you anywhere, 70 plus. 70 is at market value, or what it was sold for. But that's another one that they get really pricey really quick. Last thing that we're going to do tonight, we got two things left. We're going to do the giveaways. We'll do that at the very end. So just stick with me here for the next probably 10 minutes. One thing that I did want to show is next week is the 100th show in a row. 100th show, which 100 shows I think is pretty good. But 100 shows in a row, I think that's probably what I'm most proud of. Not missing a week. And I'll expand more on this next week. But I would be a damn fool to think that I sat up here and did 100 shows by myself. We all know that's not true. I am only half of this 100 shows. Recently, it's been just me, from 80 something up to 99 that we're on now. But from episode 1 up to the low 80s, it was me and Crumbs. And I owe the world to that guy when we come to talking about, getting to 100. There were weeks where I couldn't be here. And if he wouldn't have stepped up, the streak would have stopped. And vice versa. There was days where he couldn't be there and it was just me. And, that was always the goal, was to not miss a week, no matter what. And trust me, there were weeks where I didn't want to be here. There were weeks where he didn't want to be here. There were weeks where we both didn't want to be here. But 95% of the time, we both wanted to be here. And those are really fun times. We'll go and we'll probably look back at some of those times next week. But next week, I thought the best thing that we could do, just in true Toys Alive fashion, is just give away a bunch of shit, man, from some of our favorite artists. So we're going to go through a couple of them. There is going to be more, but here's a couple of what we're talking about for next week. Starting off with Plastic Vomit Customs. Plastic Vomit Customs has donated a lot of stuff, and they do on a consistent basis. So make sure that you're following them. They're always very, very top quality figures. Bam. That's from Plastic Vomit. That will be going out next week. We got this Gray Vader. That will be going out next week. We got this Ocular Rhombus piece. That will be going out next week. Well, I got this Hurt Toys Bushwhacker. Lots of original sculpt on there. That will be going out next week. The General Porpoise Cube. Amazing, amazing piece right here. This is something where you just stare at everything that's going on inside, and then you turn it to the other side and you do the same thing again. Boom. That will be going out next week. How about this 3D printed gold Warduke head? That will be going out next week. This is also from Plastic Vomit. Yeah, the cube, man. The cube is freaking awesome. And the grand prize for next week, don't forget about this one. The Warduke Baller Chain. That's also from Plastic Vomit. This will be going out next week. Unfortunately, as much as I want to keep it, it's going out. So that's what's going on next week. Like I said, there's going to be more stuff coming. I know that I have a box coming from Resin Blood. I know that I have a Speed Skull over there that's going to be going out, one of the blank ones. And it's going to be a fun show. There's some t-shirts. I had one of our viewers bought some sort of lot, and there was some t-shirts in there. One of them is a Galactic Jerkbags crew shirt, so a Sucklord shirt in there. That'll be going out. We'll do a DKE box. We'll do some Earth to Kentucky gift cards. Why not? So yeah, that'll be a really good show. So make sure you guys tune into the uh, the giveaway post next week. And make sure that you get your name in there because there's going to be a lot of stuff going out. You got a good chance to win something if you get in next week. Um, anyways, what's next? I guess with the giveaways next. How about this though? Right? I shit you not. I walk around the house with this sometimes, and the kids just laugh their ass off. Like, what are you doing? Um, and I'm like, well, it is a Warduke chain. I mean, I do have, you know, it is cool. Um, Tempted to wear it outside. Not sure how it's going to go, but you know what, dude? I'm 45 and I don't really care. It's um, it's a Warduke chain. That's all. That's all you really got to know. So, anyways, this will be going out next week. Unfortunately, unfortunately, let's do a giveaway. Let's give away some stuff. Let's do 2 giveaways tonight. All right, we're gonna do Mothman Republic. We're gonna do the double cannibal. Bam, that's that piece that he just showed, along with an F bomb. All right, and we got a interdimensional traveler from Massive Mini Horse. Massive Mini Horse just had a phenomenal Robot Resurrection show. Check out some of his pieces there. I think he did 3 or 4 altogether. This chain is long, and I like to like pull it back a little bit so you can see the Warduke head. So let me try to put my hood over it so it stays up, so you can see Warduke there. Anyways, Massive Mini Horse Interdimensional Traveler. This will be going out. Let's give this one away right now. At least where to check the mail. You know what's funny, dude? I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. Luckily for me, I kind of live in an old school neighborhood. Oh, Barrio Bubba, you're such a freaking sweetheart, man. 45, you pup. I sure don't feel like it, man. I'll tell you what. I think a lot of us are in this same age bracket, but I'll tell you what, man. Not getting any younger, and definitely feel it sometimes. But I do live in a neighborhood where we still have the mailboxes at the front of the house. So I can get my mail without even stepping out of my door. I open the front door and boom, it's right there. A lot of people have these community boxes now where they're kind of down the street and you know, it's just a large box with smaller compartments in it, almost like a PO box. But it yeah. Anyways, all right. So let's do the giveaway for let's do the Massive Mini Horse Interdimensional Traveler. Let's see how many we had in the giveaway this week. There was, I want to say 30 something, which is pretty good. Let's see. Here we go. So we got up to 33 today, which is pretty good. The question of the week was kind of a softball, if I'm being honest, right? Robot Resurrection just wrapped up, and it was a great one. Who stood out to you? You know, part of the reason that I do some of these softball questions sometimes is to get people to at other artists. I don't think it's annoying when people ask you to at somebody. I totally get it. But I think there's other ways to get somebody to at somebody without actually asking for it and saying, hey, tag a friend and blah, blah, blah. That's all fine and dandy. For me, I'd rather work in a question where it kind of forces you to name somebody. And for me, I think the easiest way to do that is find something current. You know, a lot of the questions recently have been name someone that you're looking forward to seeing. And then after the show, it's who did you like seeing? And that's not to, you know, put anybody on a higher level than anybody. It's really to just generate more attention for the show. Whatever show it is, Robot Resurrection, for example, right? You know, you hashtag Robot Resurrection, and then the post gets in there, and then hopefully people start scrolling through and seeing all the ads, and kind of keeps it going like that. So for me, that's the reason behind some of these easier, if you will, questions. What I would really like to do after the first 100 show is getting into some, yeah, it always doesn't pop in my feed. I'll tell you what, man. Who knows why stuff pops up in people's feeds? I don't know. I still can't figure it out. But Anyways, all right. So let's spin the wheel here and see what we got. So 33, and we're going to do the interdimensional traveler first. Look at that, already on 33. Here we go. Um, Let me share my screen. Bam. All right, interdimensional traveler by Massive Mini Horse. Good luck, everyone. Here we go. The 2023 is. Ba, 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 ba. Look at that. My man. Phantom Lake, DT O'Keefe. You have won, my man. Phantom Lake. That's awesome, dude. I love it when somebody wins, and it gives me the opportunity to send them something else as well. So that's what we'll do. Um, there we go, man. That's a good one. You have received the Interdimensional Traveler from Massive Mini Horse. And like I said, Massive Mini Horse just coming off the Robot Resurrection where they had 3 pieces that were super, super cool. So check him out when you get a chance. I know that there was the one of the pieces that we looked at on the show a long time ago was the Interdimensional Traveler that was attached to it was about a 6x9 resin backer that had a bunch of it was a really cool resin pour backer, which is cool. So last one that we got in the house. Let's see. Here's something that I always forget to do is talk about the winner and what their comment was. So let's just go over Phantom Lakes. Amazing show, and everybody really brought the fire. My tops were Tone Twisted Tiger, that Mayor McCheesehead. Oh, right you are. That was freaking awesome. Also, Slow Pour with that killer card back. Ocular Rhombus, Machine Goddess, a real stunner. Erna Giacomo, Sci-Fi Walker really spoke to me. I think that spoke to a lot of people. That was a amazing piece. And I have to give love to Linz the Rat Boy and Figurative Arsenal for their awesome non-toy pieces. Thanks, Ocular Rhombus, for hosting such a rad show. An excellent recap bonus episode from Toys Alive. You are very welcome, DT O'Keefe. Yeah, that was a great comment, and he named a lot of people in there. Tone Twisted Tiger, Slow Pour. Slow Pour is a new one. It only has a few, only had a few pieces come out, but I did buy that piece from Slow Pour in Robot Resurrection, and maybe Puzzle Panther. All good, no problem. I was just admiring the version of that piece that Fletch has. Yeah, that's exactly. So I was going to say somebody had posted that backer recently that we were talking about for Massive Mini Horse, and you're right, it was Fletch. So that's cool. So last thing that we're going to give out is the Mothman Republic piece for tonight. This is a double-headed cannibal, and then the F bomb. You can see that F bomb. I like that. We're dropping them. We're dropping them. We're dropping them. F bombs. All right, Western Goods. What is up, Western Goods? I'm gonna blow up Western Goods real quick, man. Western Goods is my homie from way, way back, man. I started hanging out with my boy probably when we were what, man, 13, 14, something like that. I mean, he's one of the truest homies that I have, and he makes a lot of music. So some of the music that you've heard on the show was done by him. I think he's coming up actually to stay with me in the next couple weeks. I think he's down in the San Jose area, which is about an hour and a half south of me. But he does still to this day makes a lot of music, royalty-free music, I should say. And so we'll be hopefully getting some music together for the show in the next couple of weeks. But Western Goods, give that account a follow. There's some cool stuff on there. Last one that we got, Mothman Republic. Here we go for the second giveaway. Let's share the screen and spin this bad boy. Share the screen. All right, here we go. Mothman Republic. Hack. Here we go. Ooh, look at that number two. I think I know who that is. Son of a gun. How about that? Uh, I believe that's the second week in a row. And I didn't send last week's yet. Ocular rhombus. Ocular rhombus. How appropriate is it? Appropriate is it that the question was about the Robot Resurrection show, and the show's host and creator, Ocular Rhombus, is the winner. His comment for who the biggest, who he thought did really well in the show. He says, every damn piece. The show was amazing, and I'm so honored by all the talent exhibited. That comment alone got 11 likes, which I believe was the most in the thread. So only fitting that Ocular Rama should win that. Congratulations, Ernie. That will be going out to you this weekend, my man, along with your, I believe in the Sewer Showdown show, he won the two TMNT reaction figures. One was a Shredder, one was a Foot Soldier, I believe. So there you go. Well, Pocket Salsa, that was very nice of you. Maybe next time. But that was nice of you. Thank you for saying that. That is the show for this week. That is episode 99. That is the last double-digit show for Toys Alive. Next week, episode number 100. It's going to be a great time. We're going to reminisce a little bit. We're going to show some old videos. We're going to give away a lot of stuff. I hope you guys tune in. I don't know if it'll be a whole 2 hours next week because I don't know if there's going to be any guests on the show. I'm still kind of working that out. But yeah, we made it, man. 100 weeks in a row. If you think that there was going to be a break after 100, I'm sorry to break your heart. There will be no break after 100. We're just going to keep on moving. Hopefully get to 200. I think I got probably at least another couple hundred in me for sure. So, and also speaking of that, 100 episodes, but I think, so, 52 and 52 is 104. So we should be coming up on the actual 2-year anniversary of Toys Alive, probably in the next few weeks. I'll have to see exactly when that was. I think we looked at it before, and it was in April or May sometime, if I remember correctly. But my screen just froze. I'm not sure if everybody's still there or not. Well, if you guys are still there and you can hear me, episode 100 next week. See you then. Mask helmet compilation. Yes. Let me see if I can get back in here, guys. If you're still there and you can hear me. All right. I don't know what happened there. My computer froze up. If you guys can't hear me or see me, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at my computer and it legit just froze. So I don't know if we can. God, I have no idea what's going on there. Yeah, interviewing your past self. Okay, cool. If you guys want to, yeah, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna cut this off. I will see you guys next week for episode 100. Take it easy. We'll see you there.